and welcome. He's known as the godfather of hip-hop and is renowned as one of the most innovative and influential businessmen in America, causing a cultural revolution in everything from music to streetwear. Russell Simmons was just in his 20s when he co-founded Def Jam, a record label that brought rap and hip-hop to the mainstream worldwide. Well, today the Simmons empire stretches from music to clothing, and he continues to launch the careers of talented minority poets and comedians. Russell Simmons has also used his fortune to fund a variety of social and political causes. In 2001, he founded the Hip Hop Summit Action Network to focus on education poverty and injustice in the African American community. In April, he published a self-help book based on his experiences. The New York Times best-selling Do You? 12 Laws to Access the Power in You and Achieve Happiness and Success is a mix of spiritual and business advice. And don't forget, we take your phone calls and mobile phone texts on this program, and the numbers are there at the bottom of your screen. Russell Simmons, it's an honor to welcome you into the show.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I've got to start off by looking back at the music that you created when you began producing in Rick Rubin's dorm room. Now, to what extent has that culture which you fathered developed into the kind of culture you expected? I mean, are you proud of the way your child has grown up?
It is as it started. Hip-hop was a voice for poor people who mostly were voiceless in America, people who were locked out. And so it's grown, but it hasn't changed. In other words, the French rappers are not liked too much by the French government. And the Palestinian rappers are piss people off. The Israeli rappers are not so, all the African rappers, of course. So here we are 20 some odd years later, but the rappers are still ones who needed a voice and who expressed the opinions of and ideas of the masses, who are mostly locked out in terms of expression, to the rest of the world. So yeah, I'm very proud is the answer. I'm very happy for what they're doing for the world.
Well, I'll ask you more about that sort of evolution, but let's get on to your business sense and the book you just published as well. Now, you're very respected for that business sense, and in fact, other successful businessmen quote you. For example, in the foreword of your latest book, Do You? The real estate mogul and celebrity Donald Trump said, "I consider him one of the greatest entrepreneurs out there today. Russell knows the market and he sees the future, and that's the ultimate business person." So just a quick look ahead, I mean, sort of early in the show, but look ahead at where you see the future of the music industry and how it's going to shape up, and perhaps how music might change in the coming years.
Well, the music itself is always evolving, and only a creative person can see where his music is going. In other words, there are many people who are trend followers, and there are a few who are trendsetters. So if someone plays the sitar really well in hip-hop and it becomes a big hit, there'll be more sitar players. I never want to predict the future, except that melody is key. Always a good song rules. And if a good song is in the rap genre, then rap. And there's so many talented rappers and musicians that it's difficult to see them going anyplace. I mean, they have leaders in this marketplace, and they probably will remain that until new creative forces come in. So that's the answer to the question, is that the creative communities will make decisions, not me.
Of course, what you did with the way you've sort of fostered the music and the culture, you've helped to change the shape of not only the music and form that culture, but also clothing and also language to some degree. And just touching on that, the title of your book, Do You? And it's Do You with an exclamation mark. It's not Do You with a question mark like Do You? Tell me where that title came from.
Well, the title was the title of the second chapter. And see, you, I refer to as yogis refer to as the Atman, as the higher self, or that piece of God inside you that connects us all. So that you, of course, is the thing that promotes miracles. Christians refer to Christ consciousness, and Buddhists talk about nirvana. And I forget what Muslims refer to, but there's a space where you're in communion with God, and when Thy will is being done, as opposed to, and so when you are connected. And the more we all are evolving towards that connection, the greater we are at promoting happiness in ourselves and in others. So the idea of the book is, it does state happiness as success, and money doesn't make happiness, we know that, but happy makes money for those of you who are interested in being a good giver. The idea of the book is to teach people to be greater contributors. And as you are a greater contributor, good givers are good getters. So it's about being born into a cycle of giving and recognizing that purpose. So it's about a conscious way of doing business,
So
you know, and being a good inspiration.
So that, Russell, is that the key message people should walk away from the book? Is it that giving is the way forward? Giving is the way to develop some spiritual success?
Giving is the only way to generate any success. You're here as a servant. Each of us is here as a servant. So as long as we recognize it, and it makes it a little easier to evolve towards becoming a greater servant. When we deny that truth, then we struggle more. So it's the freedom to give that allows us to be great receivers. Of course, there are ways to receive without giving. Everything we sell promotes, you know, a certain amount of happiness in the other person. But imagine a drug dealer, he generally dies before a drug addict. I mean, so those who are giving things that are not so good, they get back what they give. So we want to give things that are inspiring and good and lift people up as part of our business practices. Things that we trust will work for a long time, not short term, you know. We want our return to be long term.
We've got a call on the line, Russell, from Nigeria. Good to hear from Lagos. And Freedom is the caller. Freedom, your question, please.
Yeah, my name is Freedom. Hey, Russell, I want to say congratulations on your success, man. Look up to you as a black man, one of the greatest people in Africa. My question to you is, given the hip-hop history today, man, what are you guys looking to do for Africa? You know what I mean? When are you guys ever going to come to Africa and push hip-hop African Africa, like do annual concerts?
Well, I went to Africa at the end of last year, and I went to visit a school in South Africa. It's called CEDA, and there are 3,300 yogis there, college students, 4-year college that needs funding, needs $35 million. I created the Diamond Empowerment Fund, and this bracelet I'm wearing, take it off, is a vehicle, you know, and the green jewelry is a vehicle, but the idea is to get the whole diamond business, not only my small company, to not only contribute to that school, but to contribute to back to Africa where the resources come from. So that's my investment in Africa at this moment, is to build the Diamond Empowerment Fund and change the mindset of the jewelry business to see Africa in a different light. If a diamond means love, then you should see through a transparent diamond to the suffering Africans who come from the diamond-producing countries. So that's what we want to do, is we want to empower Africa.
Russell, Freedom's question also, you know, or his comment touched on how you've empowered, you know, black people in America. And I wonder, with the question we had that came in from Jamal in Austria, by email, Jamal says, can a white rapper be like an African-American rapper?
I don't see, this is something many people disagree with me. I'm a servant of hip-hop and what good it can do. I don't know that the color will make a difference if you're a good giver, and if you choose to serve Africa as a white rapper, you're doing the same thing as a black rapper who might choose it. So yes, you can serve. Everyone can serve all communities. I have many charities, and they serve people who are suffering everywhere. It seems to me that I'm able to galvanize more black people to help me and support me, or people who promote black ideas, or even philanthropists who give to black places. And it seems to me also that people of the world, darker people of the world, are oppressed everywhere. So there needs to be more help there. So I don't think your color. I signed the Beastie Boys. I signed Third Base. I support all those people who are trying to lift people up. And it seems to me hip-hop's job is to lift people up and to speak about injustice. And again, all rappers seem like they come from poor communities. That, for me, is a very key element, is why I love it so much.
Interesting, Russell. We're talking about sort of the color issue in rap music and hip hop and so on. We also, I wonder, you know, we have people asking about religion in it as well, and I wonder where religion fits in with a question that came in from Omar in Virginia here in the USA. And Omar says, what is the role of Islam in hip hop? Artists like Lupe Fiasco, Rakim, A Tribe Called Quest, and Mos Def have incorporated Islamic terminology in their music.
Well, you know, I've struggled with religion. I'm the chairman of the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding, and the chairman of the president is the chairman of the World Jewish Congress. That's Rabbi Snyder. But I don't really have much. I don't know if I should say I don't have much faith in organized religion. You know, Mr. Farrakhan is a mentor of mine, and he's a hero of mine, in fact. And Mr. Farrakhan said that, you know, he talked a lot about all the prophets reminding us of the same truth. And that truth is that, you know, when Muhammad passed away, he was not even a Muslim. and that Abraham left, he wasn't a Jew, and Lord Buddha died, there were no Buddhists. Jesus Christ died, there were no Christians. They were people who were in union with God. So all good spiritual people have a place everywhere. We all have a place, but all good spiritual people have a place lifting people up. And so Islam, such a beautiful religion, has a great place. As Minister Farrakhan has inspired so many rappers, from Will Smith all the way through any rapper you can name, Puffy, Jay-Z, all the fans of Minister. So I think he's a good inspiration, and Islam itself is a great inspiration for anybody who has a faith in the real truth that is inherent in all religion.
Okay, we have London on the line, and Alex has a question for you, Russell. Alex, what would you like to ask?
Okay.
Hi, go ahead, Alex.
All right, I still want to ask him with the issue with African artists. I'll congratulate him on his good work, but I still feel that African artists have been marginalized. And what are they doing to promote African artists, i.e. playing their videos and promoting their performance on other parts of the world apart from on the continent of Africa?
Okay. Go ahead, Russell.
Well, I have to say that I have this Diamond Empowerment Fund, or this Simmons jewelry. I have the clothing, many clothing companies now, it looks like, and all these businesses, but music is really not one of them. I'm the chairman of Def Jam. I was the chairman of Def Jam. I sold that company. I now work as a consultant. The chairman now is Jay-Z. I consult with Jay-Z, and I support their efforts, but I haven't really signed or developed music artists. So I'm a servant of hip-hop. I'm as much a servant of 50 Cent as I am of LL Cool J today, or any Def Jam artist. And I like to support their efforts to lift people up. They all have charities, and I help them build them and develop them. And I help them make deals. I help to start Rockaware or to start Sean John, or to help artists facilitate their next step. So I'm their servant, but I'm not their, I don't make decisions on which artists will be signed.
Well, Russell, an SMS just came in from South Africa, and David in South Africa sent us this mobile text saying, is Russell concerned about the violence associated with rap?
I'm concerned about the violence associated with the world community, and in our community specifically, if it's rappers talking about the American condition. The condition that creates the rap is much more important to me than the reflection of that condition. I'm very concerned when 10 kids can die in one day in Philadelphia, and almost no one talk about it. When a rapper dies, of course, it's front page news, but he is a victim to the same suffering that the whole community is a victim to. It's very scary to me that we can talk about the rapper but not the conditions. Rappers tell you a truth that you mostly don't want to discuss. So I'm not concerned with the rap lyrics. I'm concerned with the conditions that create them.
Well, I say though, Russell, a lot of people do criticize hip-hop for, the way it portrays women, the use of language, the use of the N-word and so on. And, I mean, looking at someone who's seen this culture go from its inception to where it is now, how do you feel about the way it's, empowerment of women obviously doesn't seem to be a factor for a lot of the artists there now?
Well, I think that the artists today employ women as managers. They are working for women in ways that they wouldn't have in the previous generation. I don't think the rappers are as sexist as their parents.
I'm thinking of the message.
You don't like the
message on the
videos,
language.
Yeah. I want to make. They've been dancing girls in every video for as long as America's had a film. Every time you turn on TV, they objectify women. We live in a very sexist country, and I realize the misogyny is an issue that we have to address. And every day I want to try to address it with my own action. But I will not blame the rappers for what they're reflecting. Just because they exude what they see every day that we ignore doesn't make solving the problem in misogyny and sexism in rap will not solve the American problem.
I was talking to a friend of mine here, Russell, who was a big fan, and but he had a question which he wanted me to put to you. And you were just saying how, you're responsible for the release of names such as LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys you mentioned, and Public Enemy, which popularized hip-hop. Now, early on, groups like
Jay-Z.
Right, and well, that's right. And groups such as Public Enemy had a strong social message, which came from the sort of African-American experience. And my friend seemed to think that something is really missing today, at least in the major hits. As the music's grown, the major hits don't seem to have that social message the same way. So, there's a question: are record labels dumbing down hip hop as a mechanism for social messages?
I don't believe, and many people who come from the previous generation, as I do, in rap, believe that the record companies are at fault for the dumbing down of hip hop. there are many socially conscious artists. Everybody from Alicia Keys, and I did mention that every single rapper that you can name who's a star has a charity. Nelly, Chingy for Change, Ludacris Foundation, Sean Carter Foundation. I mean, just everybody's got a name of an organization that they really put their energy and money into. And that's a social thing. But the political thing, it seems to me that all of America is dumbed down. There's not a discussion of a struggle in terms of revolution. So we do need more people to look at, I think the Hip Hop Summit this year, because there's no rapper, and this year we're going to maybe honor Michael Moore. Right. I haven't talked to him yet, but I want to call him about honoring him for the Hip Hop Summit this year. Because, we love to see rappers stand up and point to the inconsistencies in social conditions, but I'd like to see them do more in regarding the political problems that we face. And the politicians, in other words, who are paid and who are locked out of truth because of their orientation or because of their advisors. So we don't hear enough truth out of politicians or rappers.
Well, Russell, so many questions, not enough time. Do hope to speak with you again very soon. Thank you very much for being on with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us. On the next show, we're going to be talking with American political scientist Norman Finkelstein, who's been outspoken on what he calls the exploitation of Holocaust and misuse of anti-Semitism for political gain. Professor Finkelstein has paid a high price for his views, and we'll ask him about the state of academic freedom in the USA. Don't forget, if you have any questions or thoughts about pressing issues around the world, send your emails to riz@aljazeera.net. We'll see you next time. Street Talk is up next.